Happy new moon in Capricorn, you guys, and happy Hanukkah, night 6, and Merry Christmas. And I'm not too familiar with the details of Kwanzaa, but I know that that is also kind of like coming up or overlapping as well right now. So everybody is celebrating, and it feels like the light is just coming through in full force. And so you may have been feeling extremes, extreme enthusiasm, extreme irritability, extreme dehydration, extreme fun, extreme tiredness, extreme inspiration, extreme apathy. So I've been feeling it too. In fact, today is the same. I woke up, there was a power outage. Then I, was so exhausted. Last night, people appeared out of nowhere to help me scrape ice off my car. We had an ice storm or like sort of like a snowstorm here in like Tennessee. Like we're just not prepared for it. So anyway, and then I'm going to work tonight. And inevitably when these fall on work nights, it's just like, I've got to wake up and then I've got to like pedal to the metal. So I feel like time is going by so fast as we're rounding out this year. But this Capricorn new moon is making it super potent right now. Okay, because I also wanted to mention that the solstice was on the 21st. Okay, so when we have a new moon, it starts a seed, a new beginning, and that cycle is most potent in those 2 weeks, but it will also play out over the next 6 months, the growth period, because the matching full moon will happen 6 months from then. And so that's a cycle of growth, and it's like a growing energy into a climax. Well, solstice is like the waxing phase of the sun. This is like when the sun returns and the light starts to grow every day. It's so interesting too that all of this is coinciding because during Hanukkah, once again, we are opening ourselves up during a window or a portal of time in order to receive this light of miracles and abundance and insight and awakening and transformation and opening up to miracles. And so the way that we do that it's kind of like the same with every lunation, right? It's like we change our shadow nature, our weaker selves, our lower nature, our nature that comes easiest to us, but it's not necessarily positive or productive. It's not us evolving, right? It's just us succumbing to like our own status quo. And so we need to overcome those ego layers, those shells that keep us that keep that light hidden and contained behind the veil, right? And the more ego shells we can eliminate, the thinner the veil becomes. And it just so happens that certain times of year, we can bypass our own negativity in those layers and actually receive this light in abundance. And so that's what's happening this week. And it is prompting a lot of support in our transformation, but we just have to give the tiniest little opening for the light to come through, for the miracle to happen. So it doesn't mean that you have to make major change and major shifts. It just means that you have to begin to see things differently, to try to see the best in people, to try to push yourself out of the comfort zone of what comes easy to you. Also to be able to set boundaries for yourself and to stand up for yourself. It's really a balance of being able to be authentic and in your truth and in integrity as you move and have your being in the world. And so it's essentially about living in alignment with like that higher divine purpose, that sense of purpose and passion and light, That's really the fulfillment that we're after whenever we reach for these husks, these presents under a tree that we think are going to give us all this excitement and joy, but like really, it's Christmas afternoon once we've, eaten all our candy and we've gone to the movies and we come back home and everybody's tired, like the presents have already started to wear off their excitement. And then after a couple of days, they're just possessions, and we get bored of them, and then we're ready for the next season of surprise, So what we're really looking for is not the present that's presented, but it's the fulfillment that we feel in the moment that these experiences happen to us. And so when we figure out how to connect with that feeling of fulfillment without the presence, then it's like all of a sudden we're completely in our power at that point, because nothing holds sway over us, which is one of the lessons of the Devil card, which is associated with Capricorn. It's like the material world. How much control does that material world have over you? That illusion that the physical thing is the thing, right? And not what's really underneath the thing. And when you really understand that it's the energy, it's the essence beneath the thing that's the thing, then you understand all the other things that are going on. Oh, this chaos in my life is just a material representation of the like energetic and emotional chaos that is like hidden below the surface. So I just need to explore that and transform it, right? And once I have a state of inner peace, then my external circumstances will start mirroring that inner peace. So during Capricorn, to receive the gifts of the Capricorn new moon, we need to overcome Capricorn's shadow side in order to gain Capricorn strengths. Capricorn is an earth sign. It's the most matured and evolved of the earth signs. So it's the most methodical, the most grounded, the most like take a step by step by step by step, and success is inevitable. Right? They know how to set themselves up. They're business oriented. They know how to take action and have a plan and execute the plan. They're organized people. They have wisdom. They are wise beyond their years. They're old souls, right? It's like they're really kind of serious, and it's all about responsibility and discipline with them. They can be very strict, you know, and then like maybe go on the side of sternness though, and being stuck in their ways, or stubborn, or hard-headed, or closed off, or cold, or like unyielding, or all or nothing kind of thing. Capricorn can be too materialistic, or afraid of a scandal, or worried about, you know, appearances, like overly caught up in that material world. And so I think that they can be unduly influenced by the opinions of others in that like attempt to fit into that material ideal, right? That whole like egotistical vision gone wrong. So we need to overcome that part of ourselves, that stubbornness, that feeling like we have to present anything that's inauthentic, right? Because that's the thing that's draining us. The other reading, I think it was last night, maybe, it was a Thirsty Thursday reading. We were talking about passion, and how you generate passion is just really doing what is authentic to you, what comes authentically in your nature and in your heart. And what drains you of passion is like forcing yourself to go through the motions of like what really isn't, like you're not really into it. It's not really authentic to you. Trying to force yourself in a peg that is not, you know, the shape or the hole that, you know, that you're the shape of or whatever. So it's just exhausting, and it leads to burnout and resentment and dissonance and chaos. So right now is a good time to finish the year strong. Take a minute, take a couple of hours, you know, make it like a ritual. Light a candle, drink a hot tea, glass of wine, mulled wine, whatever. Get in your journal and just like let yourself acknowledge all the things that you've accomplished this year. All the things that were difficult, all the things that you were able to achieve or overcome, all the change, the transformation, even just the things that you went through that you feel like, man, like I feel like this needs to be acknowledged and not just like glazed over. All the hard stuff, the things that were boring, that took forever, that went unnoticed, whatever. Anything that you want to acknowledge yourself for, write it out and celebrate it and sit in that. Then on a separate occasion, maybe on another day, start really visualizing what year you want to bring in this year. How do you want to be in this new cycle? You know, we've already been discussing this. We've already been prepping this. And I know that we're all running around this weekend like crazy because it's like Hanukkah and Christmas Eve and Christmas and all that. But like, If you can start building it in your mind and in your inspiration and in your feelings and in your imagination, then that's great. That's the perfect start. That's the seed level of manifestation. It's even better to do it right now because you have all the warmth and the charm and the joy and the mirth of the holidays. And that's the best state to be in, to manifest, is like a lighthearted state of non-resistance and complete surrender and just like, whatever, devil may care, have fun. Jovial, bright, let your days be merry and bright. So manifest now, think, visualize what you're calling into your life in every area. And then when you can, I would say, between now and New Year's Eve, journal and lay out all the dreams and your aspirations and the things that you want to see play out this year, right? The routines that you want to put into place. The things that you're not going to really do anymore, the things that are working against you or working against all of your efforts, like habits that are just draining you and making all of the effort that you put on this side, it's kind of counteracting it and taking away all the progress. So whatever you're doing that's counteracting your progress, we're just going to look at those things and edit them out. Set up your vision for the year to come. And then get a practical action step and plan so that you can methodically start taking steps to put this plan in action. And don't feel like you're in such a hurry to get out there and go and get it done, because the winter season is a great time to be quiet, rest and recuperate, plan, research, take slow, quiet action, step by step by step. And then as the energy grows through the season, as we approach spring, you'll realize that you're building momentum, and then you can strike when the energy's ready, and it will make all of the difference when the timing is right. When you put, it's like when you study incrementally instead of cramming before the night before, and then you know nothing afterwards. You're just you get by through the test on shock and adrenaline, and that's it. You can just regurgitate basically what you just read. Okay, you guys, I think it is time to start our reading. Very excited. I like this dress. It reminds me of a frosted cupcake. It's very New Year's Eve-y. Very sequency. It's also very thick and scratchy and awkward, but it's worth it. And then I've got on my 300-year-old, or it's I don't know how many years old it is. It's from the late 1700s, Europe. I think maybe Germany, top hat. Isn't it great? It's either French or German. I can't remember. I think it's German. Very exciting. So, okay, I'm going to do a Celtic cross with my, I can't use words anymore. Oh, I still have to work tonight. I have to go through an icy, barren tundra to go to work. Okay, so this is my custom deck that I am currently writing. It's an oracle deck, straightforward oracle. It is in the works. Let us find out who we are in the context of this moment right now. Ooh, forgiveness is what is being asked for. I feel all of the readers that I watch, I'm a stuttering Stanley today. All the readers that I watch have been telling me forgiveness is the way, and I'm I hate getting this card because I'm all right, if somebody hasn't already ruffled my feathers, does that mean I can look forward to something that's gonna be offensive? Brace yourselves, buckle up, be ready to forgive, or maybe it's just time to let bygones be bygones. We're really wanting to move in and ahead into the future unencumbered. Well, then be the person that's unencumbered. And it's do you want to be right or do you want to be unencumbered? And so the best way to move forward is to feel good and don't feel isn't it great when everything just feels like it's all is in its right place? And it doesn't mean that you're being enmeshed or that you're condoning or whatever, but you're just letting the energy go for your own sake. And so that you can be at peace, right? And start anew, unburdened by the past. Forgiveness is what is being asked for. Okay, well, what is crossing us now? What energy is crossing us in this moment? Ooh, meditate. Good. Time for rest. Taking a breath, and then try to take time for stillness over the holiday weekend if you can. Enjoy walks in nature, enjoy simple, mindless tasks that you can get lost in. I love cleaning. I can't wait for a good day to do a deep clean. I think that that is very meditative. But either way, we need to sit in a dark stillness and quiet, because that is what winter is. It is the dark and fertile womb, the void, the potential of creation, where all that potential swirls and whirls in formlessness, but its unadulterated potential is like so, I don't know, explosive, it's dynamic. And so we need to let that build as we rest. So come spring, it's like, you know, action. You know what I mean? All right, let's see. What is the underlying, like, subconscious influence of the situation? Oh, we were in scarcity mode. Okay, so the underlying influence and the hidden subconscious patterns have to do with being scarcity minded. So we think that there's not enough to go around. We think that if they get theirs, then I won't get mine. We think that in some way we're inadequate, or we have inadequate resources, right? It's like somehow we're cheating ourselves by assuming that we're not going to be able to pull it off, or that there's not going to be enough, or we're not good enough, or something. But I'm going to read this real quick. Lack mentality, scarcity minded, self-perpetuating poverty, energetic of poverty, being cheap with self or others, stingy out of fear, survival mode, financial discomfort, blocked prosperity, being miserly or overly frugal, judging others for spending or fear of spending. Interesting that that comes at the end of the year during Christmas. It's like when you're trying to like do what you can to like be generous, but then you're like, oh, I've got to be like, like careful with my money, because like winter, you know, it's like, it's such like extreme times. Remember we were talking about the extreme contrast. Scarcity mindedness can be very sneaky and even more destructive. It robs us of the joy of our lives and conscious appreciation of the bounty that we have. We can't see our abundance, and we don't believe that we can get more. Oh my God, and it's like this is what's blocking all of the flow of your success, all of the flow of your love life, all of the flow of your cash. It's just these like hidden subconscious beliefs or patterning from your early childhood about poverty consciousness, about scarcity, about anything that felt like there wasn't enough to go around. Like that is the thing that's like leaving the impression on you now that is causing a block. It's just something out of your awareness. And the more that you become aware of it, the more you shine light on it, the more you're conscious of it, and you can elevate beyond it. Rewrite new patterns by taking new actions and making new choices. Let's see, where was I? We can't see our abundance, and we don't believe we can get more. Scarcity is needy, lacking, and nothing is ever satisfactory or good enough. We disconnect from the pleasure and the lightheartedness of life and cycle downward into anxiety, stress, fear, depression, hopelessness, and despair. The good news is we can turn this around. Catch yourself when you are in scarcity without judging yourself or beating yourself up. Challenge it. Challenge that belief. Follow the trigger back to its root and choose an empowering belief to reprogram with. Take steps to improve your relationship to money and finance, and focus appreciation on all the riches and blessings in your life. Love it. Declare gratitude, focus on making, your finances healthy, put your attention on that, and what you focus on grows. So focus on improving finances, not stressing about finances. All right, what is in the past that's a lesson that's like clearing up now, but it's still kind of influencing? Oh, find a coach or teacher. You know what? We had this card come up the other day. It was like consult an expert, and I think this was in the realm of our manifestation reading. So something that we've been trying to get help with, I feel like maybe it's like we've come a long way and we've learned a lot, but there's still some little missing piece of the puzzle, and there's going to be a teacher or some teacher that we've discovered recently who's going to have the key, right, to kind of like give us that one little like piece that we haven't been able to hear just right from someone else. But it's something that's going to come soon, because it's this issue of like needing to find this person to like show you this piece, this missing piece is like, it's beginning to not be an issue anymore. So something either that has recently come through or is about to. All right, what's crowning us now? Cause consciousness. Ooh, awesome. So we're learning our lesson about setting our mindset, setting our energy, setting our mood, setting our emotions. Cause consciousness is about having affinity with the light. The light is eternal. The light is unwavering, unchanging, perpetual, right? It doesn't wane or wax. It's always giving. So what we need to do is create and adopt a consciousness that is like the light is the cause, and the physical realm is the effect of the cause, right? Big Bang, universe. See what I'm saying? So we need to be the Big Bang of our universe, right? So what causes our reality? It starts in the mind. So we need to practice self-mastery, mindfulness, mind over matter, but consciousness, where we understand that we have a choice over the thoughts that are taking up space in our mind. Those thoughts affect our feelings. Those feelings influence and inform our moods. And then our moods almost determine our personality if they're often and like consistent enough, right? So instead of being in the effect consciousness of, oh, I am very influenced by the kind of day I'm having. I can't bounce back. I am not resilient. I'm affected by everything that's going on. I'm stressed. I'm irritated. I'm sad. Oh, I'm happy. I'm excited. Everything is great. This is going to be the life-changing opportunity. Oh, no, it wasn't. Those extreme things where people are so like changeable and mutable are... That's the effect consciousness. It's not to say that we have to be completely stoic and be unreactive, but we have to be able to we have to have a strong enough muscle at being a cause consciousness person that when things shift out of going our way, we can maintain feeling the same as when they are going our way, if that makes sense. Because it's easy to be faithful and full of confidence and certainty when everything's going pretty good, but how well and how strong is your certainty when you're like feeling really threatened and very vulnerable, and like your finances are very threatened, or your health is very threatened, or like your life is very threatened, How cause consciousness oriented are you then? So it's something that we have to kind of practice all the time, but I feel like because it's in the crowning position, it's like we're starting to understand that concept, and it's starting to be something that we're actually able to start practicing. Okay, so what's ahead of us? It's time to take action. Very Capricorn, take inspired action. Yang energy. Follow your inner guidance. Wasting time will cause discontent. That's very true. Stagnation and even chaos. That's why it's important to rest during cycles of rest so that we can take action when it's time to take action. Because now we're coming up into a cycle that's it's very rest and action oriented. And so it's like about methodical action, but it's just all about like learning how to like distill your energy in the most productive way. And I know I'm going like 1,000 miles an hour today, but it's because I've got to go to work and we only ever had 45 minutes. Okay. Support from the universe, divine timing meets preparedness. Catch the wave of magic. Okay. All right. What is our perception that is affecting us now? Ooh, conflicting desire. Okay, cool. So something in the subconscious, maybe even related to scarcity mode, is also flooding into your perception, and it might even be unconscious to you, that there's something that you want that's not coming in because there are other things, beliefs that you have, or phobias about it, or insecurities about it, or things that make you feel threatened. And so your subconscious is building up blocks to protect you, because that is what a conflicting desire is. Like, for instance, someone who wants to be a famous pop star but for instance is repulsed by the idea of being in the limelight or like being annoyed by the paparazzi or losing their privacy, that's a conflicting desire, right? Because in order to be a successful pop star, it inevitably implies that you're probably going to be the center of a lot of attention and you're going to be hounded by the paparazzi. So is that conflicting desire vivid and strong enough and visceral enough to block your success from coming in? So really like examine the things that you want to pull in this year and call in for yourself and manifest and create and build and attract. Are there any conflicting desires within yourself that are hang-ups or that are making you feel conflicting emotions about it, or that are maybe causing dissonance in your vibration about it, right? Check in with your authentic core needs, you know, because the conflicting desires are usually keeping you from getting those authentic core needs met under the guise that, you know, it's, oh, I don't need that or whatever. Don't say anything yet. Okay, so the outside influence affecting us right now is don't say anything yet. The time is not right. They won't be able to hear you. Their heart is not open. You may change your mind. Don't have all the information yet. Ooh, okay, so during the fall, we were going into eclipse season. During Scorpio, I remember there was a lot of messages going on about waiting and not starting anything with the chaos of the eclipses, because during the spring things would be different. Like either you'd find out something that you didn't know before, or you'd feel differently or think differently, and so it was better not to do anything major and like wait it out and wait it a few months to see like how things developed. So this is, again, your outer circumstances. You may be frustrated in the moment, but there's something that's just like not ready yet, and it's not going to be wise to try to initiate it or try to pursue it in any way yet, because it's not ready. So don't say anything yet, because you may have the wrong end of the, you know, there could be many reasons, but just don't pull any fast ones quite yet. All right, what is our hopes and fears? What do we need to know about our hopes and fears right now? Hopes and fears. Ooh, this is an emotional issue to overcome. This is the essence of our hope and fear. All of our hopes and fears are tied into the manifestations of 2023. Typical. Classic archetypal positioning here. The realm of Netzach, which is governed by Venus on the tree of life, has to do with symphony, inspiration, creativity, passion, feelings, sensuality. It also has to do with fear and lust and love and excitement and happiness and pleasure and joy and devastation. So it can be very extreme. So can our hopes and fears, because we fear that our hopes won't come true, and we hope that we fear it doesn't come true, and all of those. So they're all tied together. So let's pull one more. Oh, one more card on that. A lucrative partnership. A new job, promising partnership, combining elements to yield great success. Okay, so try to work on balancing your emotions. Bring yourself into balance and try not to pay attention and take wisdom from your emotions as you're making your choices, but don't let your emotions control you as you make choices. There is the potential for two to join and make something better than they were, whether that's for business or whether it's a creative collaboration or new friends or collaborators, I said, co-workers, people. I keep seeing like a theater groups or like bands like working together, but also maybe even meeting someone who's a good partner. But like it's just like maybe like there are things that have to happen and nothing is as it seems right now. So all the things that you think you're looking at right now could change. So just hold off for a second. And what was this? Oh, creation phase 1. Okay, awesome. There is a desire, there is a dream, an inspiration, but the process has not begun yet. So it's funny because our last lunation, we were in creation phase 4, which was the manifestation, right? And so we would love to stay in perpetual phase 4, which is the fulfillment of that manifestation. So that means something is coming, something is materializing soon, because we're already like creating new seeds, and we're setting new seeds for the year. So in a way, we might still be like working on manifestations that are coming through, but they might be entering into like going from high school to college into a new creation phase 4 within creation phase, or like into a new creation phase 1 within a creation phase 4, if that makes sense. Okay, so those are all together with the hopes and fears. And it's funny too, because you can fear that you're going back to phase 1, and you can feel like you're always starting at phase 1, and any minute you can go to phase 4. So that's hilarious. And then what is our probable outcome? What is the probable outcome? Ooh, okay, here we go. Woo. Probable outcome, your limiting beliefs are the issue here. Okay, cool. So probable, stop obsessing. So try to let go. Usually the things that I manifest with the greatest ease are things that I joke around about, because I have no like expectation that they would happen anyway. So I just say it, and then like it totally happens. So treat it like that. Being overly obsessed about something is only going to cause more blocks, slower progress, and dissonance. Whatever's happening, it's going to be happening in a slow, methodical, step-by-step pace, I believe, until spring. I think that the astrology is all arranged so that the beginning of this year, it's like we want to take off like super fast and like go for it, but I think it's like going to be like a slow step-by-step building process, right? We've gathered materials, everything's laid out. We're now going to be building structures. So it's not a fast process, because we want everything to be precise and balanced and well structured, right? And sound. Okay, what is, let's see, 4 tarot cards. Ooh, King of Swords, clear, decisive, clear on the plan, ready to go, ready to break ground. The King of Swords has figured out how to maintain their inner thoughtscape and their focus, and they're very exacting. They're good at being assertive. They're very like good leaders. Ooh, 3 of Swords. They're also insensitive, so don't let your insensitivity, 2 of Swords. Insensitivity, indecision, cold, seemingly feeling, like without feeling. Ooh, okay, hold on. But Queen of Wands, 6 of Wands, the Fool. Okay. All right, you have like an aspect over here that is standoffish and cold, but also like this is the part of you, right, that has been very methodical. You're very clear about getting the plan together. You're not willing to like throw away your heartache anymore, but at the same time, like you're still in this like indecision and like out of balance with your inner conflicting desires. Your limiting beliefs are an issue. So all the progress that you're going for is like being counteracted, like we were talking about before, right? So like even though you have a plan and you're like exacting your plan, your inner conflicting desires, your inner your obsessive, thought patterns, your limiting beliefs, like all of those things, it's an emotional issue to overcome, but it's keeping you in a stalemate with yourself. And it's a lot of heartache. It's like these round and round and round and round and round. So that's giving you like a pain in your own ass. Over here, you're perfectly capable of balancing everything at once and like juggling a million things and having the energy to do it. You're intuitive, you're like charismatic, like you're a go-getter, and you're gonna be victorious in doing it. It's just like, and this is like, you're just like, okay, fresh start. You have the energy of the Fool is like this carefree, oh my God, I'm just like, whatever. I'm throwing my hands up in the air, let the chips fall where they may, devil be damned, I'm going for it attitude. So try not to be caught in like cycles of indecision that keep you in analysis paralysis. Like, should I grab that? Should I not? Like, should I take this with me? Like, the clock is ticking. We're burning daylight, people. Also, what I'm seeing here is you may be feeling like a person or a situation is very hard to read. And you're feeling like it's like a cold, like standoffish situation, and there is like some inner conflict going on there, and it's like a kind of a painful situation for this person. They're figuring out, maybe they're going through heartbreak, maybe they're figuring out like how to get over some kind of like pain or like conflict or whatever. There's separation involved, and the separation is causing pain, or there's like misunderstanding, or like things aren't being communicated. Now over here, there's like hot miss hot sexy, like having fun, like going through life without a care in the world, like just like going about her business and like doing the best she can. So I think this person over here seems like they're all like, I don't care, whatever, but they're like, ooh, they like this person. They think that this person is very charismatic and they've got a lot going on for themselves and all that. So despite appearances, like, and also the more confident and carefree that you are, and the more that you're not obsessing about your issues and the issues and all of that, then like, I don't know, you'll just be focused on your own thing, and you'll be focused on all of your plans, and all the energy you'll be surrendered because you won't be focused. Ta-da! Cozy! I ran out of time. I had to go to work, and now I'm back from work, and I am like in sweater and hippie pants. So I'm comfy, I'm cozy. I think it's about 2 degrees outside. Everything was pretty icy, but we had some brave souls making it out to the restaurant tonight for their short rib and their biskies and their mashed potatoes. And yeah, we had a nice little boring night before Christmas Eve, and we're closed for the next 2 days. So I'm excited. This is officially Christmas break, Hanukkah night 6. And I am so excited to be back for part 2 of our full, like, 1-part workshop that I have filmed in 2 parts. Let's see. Where were we? I will say this though, all the people that I like to follow that usually post workshops and things on the new moons and full moons, I didn't see anybody that was able to like get their shit together to get this up today in a timely fashion. Which is so funny because part of, and I'm glad we get to just take our time now, because I had to rush through talking about the Capricorn new moon earlier. And part of like the lunations, and when the full moon and the new moon is in a certain sign, it's like we can embody the strengths and powers of that sign, but like only if we first can like overcome the shadow aspects or like the negative aspects of the sign. And so it's like self-sacrificing the ego to up level, and specifically within the categories of the things that that sign rules over. But it just so happens that it's also like the greater energy around Hanukkah that opens us up to blessings. It's like the more we give of ourselves to our commitment, to our devotion, the more we invest, the more we're able to sacrifice our own laziness, our own desire for instant gratification, things to be easy and comfortable. Like the more we can make that opening through the transformation, through that transmutation of what was once darkness into what then will always be light here and thereafter. So it's that breaking open of energy, and that transmuting of energy. It's like that breaking open of it is the opening that allows for the miracle to happen, and the miracle is like the transformation that unfolds. While at a spiritual energetic level, yes, there is a transformation unfolding, but in life, it presents as these different, you know, like things or coincidences or like magical life-saving moments, or just like conveniences. Like the other night when I was like coming out to a blizzard, there were people there that just surrounded me and like scraped the ice off my car, and I was like, oh my God, thank you Jesus. But yeah, so like things like that will open you up for those moments where you need a miracle, and it's like, oh, you will have one there, right? And it's not that we're earning the miracle, because miracles are through grace. But there are things that we can do, almost like scientific method, to get that energy flowing, right? To open ourselves up. Like there's a system, and it's pretty predictable. There are laws and rules, and spiritual laws and rules. And if we can align with those and follow them, we can, set ourselves up for certain results, all right? Or at least like give ourselves the conditions that would best be best suitable to produce certain results. Let's just put it that way. Create the right weather for it. Okay, so, and so then that was leading me to say that the strengths of Capricorn are being, organized and disciplined and thorough and methodical, and being able to like tackle things and be competent at like getting things done. And it's so funny that it's been so hard to be organized and competent today. I mean, there's just like so much going on, and then like Mercury's going into retrograde next week, and then there was something was like I can't even remember all the astrological aspects, but Aries is in the mix, of course, making things spicy and making you feel like you want to hurry, and then Capricorn is like slowing it down, and so we're just fit to be tied, people. Fit to be tied, like literally. So, okay, where did we leave off? Let's pull our Moonology card to see what the moon has to say to us. What a night. We kept having the power go out, but it was like, it would only go out for like really short periods of time, and it was kind of awesome because the whole building would go pitch black, but it would just be like all the million candles lit everywhere. And then sometimes it would go off long enough to where like all the systems would have to come back online, so like any of the orders that were sent through may have gotten lost. But then a couple of times it went out, and it was so brief that like nothing had to be reset. It was just like, it just kept going. It was like that weird internet lull, It's like if you could get in and out in 10 seconds, like it's all still there. Whew. All right. Communication is key. New moon in Gemini. So interesting. I feel like so many of our readings in these new moon and full moon like check-ins have talked about the importance of communication, and communicating being the key to the situation that's going on right now. And because of the continual message that it's like the communication is key, it makes me wonder if like any of the advice is like sinking in, or if the communication that needs to happen still hasn't happened. There's a good way to go through a process of proactive confrontation. And it's not that to say like maybe you need to communicate positive things. Like maybe like this doesn't like a lot of the things that we've been working on recently have been setting us up to like communicate our standards to people, communicate our needs, communicate our desires and how we want to see things play out, what we need from other people and circumstances and jobs and conditions. And so a lot of times when we communicate that, if we can do that in an effective way, we'll be able to we'll get what we want. It's not always going to erupt in like a negative way. So it's like we need to communicate our needs and our standards. We need to set those boundaries. But also this could be like good communication, right? This could be maybe you've been wanting to pitch your like writing or something to get it published somewhere. Maybe if you're a poet, you've been wanting to send your poetry out to get it published. That kind of takes a long time. It kind of takes like, you just have to like decide within yourself that you're just going to be like sending shit out all the time, and it's constantly just going to disappear, and you're never going to hear back, and then like maybe sometime like it'll work out or whatever. But it's like you have to remind yourself that in order to get these things done, you have to participate in the communication. If you like someone and you have a crush on them and you don't communicate that, then you're not gonna have any shot with them, right? Even like you have to do it on some level. You have to communicate your attraction. I mean, this is what we do on an animal level. Like, this is like basic instinct of survival. Like, communicate attraction. I think that in these modern times, it's so funny because the more our consciousness like gets skewed by the ego, it's like the more dysfunctional we are, the further we get away from like our super consciousness and our just instincts. Like the ego just like fucks it up and fucks it up. So it's like now we can't even, like we're even fucking it up to the level where we can't even just like communicate our basic animal instinct of like attraction anymore without people being sent into like a neurotic downward spiral of like attachment issues. It's like, y'all, we have put the cart behind, like before the horse. Like, I mean, come on, y'all. Communicate. Communicate what you need. Communicate what you expect. If you're in a team working environment, you know, communication is very important, and it's required, and things can get really cattywampus and go off kilter if communication isn't flowing, and if people aren't all on the same page, and if there's misunderstandings flying. It's just like, and then we have Mercury going retrograde coming up. So we need to be extra clear. We need to just be kind, fair, polite, direct. You can't really go wrong there. Cross all your T's. Dot all your lowercase j's. Make sure that you read things carefully. I wouldn't buy a gadget right now. Like, I wouldn't go out and buy a set of tires until the end of Mercury retrograde. Like, anything that has to do with like travel and tech and things like that, like big purchases, I would just wait a few weeks. But like, yeah, inevitably things will come up and you'll just have to like deal with it like during this time. And if they do, that's great. But it's like, if you don't need to, just wait 3 weeks before you go out and make a big purchase. As far as making those purchases, like double check the emails, double check your shipping addresses, double check like the confirmation email. I've already had really weird wonky stuff going on. Just trying to like order some stuff. I'm like, they're like, it's still in the cart. I'm like, but I already have the confirmation. It's like, are these real stores? It's like, I want to order things off of things that aren't Amazon, but like nothing is safe. Like everyone's a scam, so who knows? But yeah, so communication is key. Mercury's going into retrograde, so be extra careful. Be careful when you travel. Double check everything. Make sure you have your keys in your phone. If you're packing to travel, make sure you've got like all your necessities with you and all of that good stuff. And I feel like there's something else about Mercury. But yeah, just be extra, like read everything twice before you send the email and all that kind of thing. All right, let's get an Angel Wisdom Tarot card. It's like, I feel like I need to be like, hey, how are you guys doing? But it's like, we've already been here. I'm the only one who's come and gone. But like in your like visual, like your viewing experience has been seamless. I'm the only one who's making it weird. Okay, Page of Swords. So it's so many things. The Page of Swords can be so excited and gung-ho and like guns blazing and like a little bit of like piss and vinegar and all that they can be a bit indiscriminate. And so sometimes they're just boorish and full of like energy and they want to get it done and they're anxious and eager to help and do a good job, but they can just be a little haphazard, or they can like think like, oh, let's just get it done at any cost, or, you know, like just do it by any means, whatever. And they're just not paying attention or being extra gingerly with the details. So be careful of that. Be careful about blunt communication. The sword suit is all about thought, mind, communications, the arts that have to do with communications, like tech and all that stuff. So it's like the pages they're not super mature. And so if you're having important conversations and you're needing to communicate, and communication is key, be careful that you are emotionally mature, as emotionally mature as you can be in those conversations. Try not to be insensitive or blunt, and take your time, because what is said can't be unsaid. And because we're going into that Mercury retrograde, it's like there's a lot of possibility for miscommunication right now. So I would just be gentle, be kind, be careful about what you're about to say, pause, restrict, and like take it through a filter before, you know, you confront. Oh, that's right. Remind me to talk about some of the tips for proactive confrontation before you actually confront someone. I'm going to read the card first. Logical, perceptive, insightful, blunt, an exciting intellectual challenge, brilliant insights, information that you need but might be challenging to receive. Ooh, I think that we've been like getting hints too leading up to now about things coming out in the open, more information being revealed. I remember there was this don't say anything yet, and then I think like 2 weeks ago during our new moon, full moon, there was something about don't say anything yet, you don't know the whole story. So that could be, you could be getting more information and it might not be what you want to hear, but it'll give you more clarity so you can make an informed decision about how you want to move on and move forward. Review all documents carefully. Ad nauseam. All right. Let's see. Next, let us check in with the magical mermaids and dolphins to see what we need to know about our manifestation. How can we best use the next 2 weeks to get our manifestations off the ground and rolling? We got, first out of the gate, we got Hold on, let me just climb over the furniture. I can't reach it. I forgive myself. Self-forgiveness. Be nice. Let go of old guilt and remember that you're God's perfect child. Honey, God don't make trash. This mermaid has got some nice boobies. Just gotta point that out. This is very good for you, girl. Comb that hair. Ooh, and mermaids comb their hair because they're cleaning their energy field. They're like getting rid of the negativity, right? So when you see mermaids brushing their hair, it's like they're cleaning their thoughts away. Have you ever done a visualization where you're trying to like symbolically get rid of your negative thoughts or whatever, but it's like you visualize that you're doing something like pulling weeds or something like that? That's like the hair thing. It's like they're pulling that negativity. They're doing energy work and cleansing their hair. Because hair is actually a very magical sort of antenna. It's very receptive. And so that's why other cultures, one of the reasons why the women are supposed to cover their hair, part of it is like that the men aren't supposed to covet other men's wives. But there's also a metaphysical reason underneath even that people get stuck in these like physical material reasons and they get caught up in like the social and cultural aspects. But really underneath it, what's happening is even more bizarre. It's like the demons are attaching to your hair. Basically, it's like energy, like hair is very, it's very attractive to other forms of energy, and so it can hold on to negativity, but it also exudes your radiance too, your glory, all of that like divine like light coming out too. So yeah, hair is a magical thing. Let go of old guilt and remember that you're God's perfect child. So, and then that's another thing that we've been working on through the fall. It has been like offloading all of that old toxic baggage, particularly in regards to our perception of ourselves and our life up until now, how we talk about ourselves, how we talk about the way things happened or how they unfolded, or the way that we're kind of like looking back on it. Like our perception is beginning to change. And the more that we can be forgiving towards ourselves and more compassionate, I think the more that we can have a really more balanced understanding of where we've been, and so it's going to be more neutralized inside of us and easier to like have like a grace of acceptance about the whole thing, right? It's like what's done is done and it's in the past, and the initial threat and the worst of it is over, and you do have that aftershock pain and those echoes of pain and the memories of the pain, but you can let them release, and little by little, like the sand is eroded from the shore. It's like that pain can wash away as you forgive yourself, but it's a process. So it's about forgiving yourself through the forgiveness. It's like not beating yourself up if you fall back or if you backslide or if you mess up. It's like this whole thing, personal growth. It's just the funny thing about it is that there's no finish line. It's like we're never gonna get any better. It's like we're hopelessly flawed. But that's great, because if we really did get that much better, we would die. We would be so elevated that we wouldn't have to come back and incarnate anymore. We would have nothing left to do on this earth to like correct ourselves or evolve into. If we were totally evolved and perfect, there would really be no purpose in us being here, and so then we would die. And if we were super, 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 super elevated in consciousness, our reward would be that we would be absorbed into the all and have zero identity left. Can't wait. So yeah, don't beat yourself up. Like, we're here, we're supposed to be flawed. Every single flaw that we have, we've been given. And this is not permission to just continue being shitty or to rest on your laurels or to not push yourself. It's like the perfect combination. Like, being spiritual is always being able to hold a paradox. And usually, even like, by holding that paradox, you need to be able to surrender, and it creates this balance. And so, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought a little about self-forgiveness, and about accepting that you're great just the way you are, you're worthy, you're valuable, you're already completely whole and 100% wonderful, and yet you're flawed. You're imperfect, and that's great too. That's perfect. That's part of the plan. And so we just need to embrace that imperfection, and we need to be like, okay, we're gonna like take this on just like a student, just like an enthusiastic student who's excited and happy to learn something new, like an extracurricular activity. And you're just doing it because it makes life so much better, and it makes your experience of life so much better, and because you want to push yourself for growth and expansion and excellence, because that is an affinity with the light. The light is always expanding, right? The universe is always expanding. Nature is always evolving, and it's usually through pressure and discomfort that evolves nature, right? So we also, when left to our own devices, when we get over all of our laziness and all of that, it's still, even if it's at the slowest, most microscopically like unnoticeable pace, we are always still growing and evolving and becoming and changing, even if it doesn't seem like it. And if we weren't, we would be dead. Okay, so forgiveness is more than saying sorry. Consultant expert. Ooh, we had this recently. I think it was for our manifestation reading on Totally Tuesday recently. But more important, or more information is needed, contact someone with expertise in this area. And I was thinking about this card earlier, and I feel like it might have been in correlation with one of these that we had. Oh, find a coach or a teacher. And then I think I talked about this card earlier, and then it came up again. Sometimes I'm like, I think these cards can hear us talking about them, and they're like, hey, did you say something? And we're like, yeah, we were just talking about you. So yes, so keep on the lookout. If you're stuck somewhere, maybe even just in every major category of your life, check in with some expert advice about it. But yeah, now's a good time to have a coaching session is great right now. I mean, it's perfect when you're at the turn of like the end of this past year and the beginning of the new year. That's a perfect time to consult someone. Maybe it's that you need to find a good therapist. And it's overwhelming, yeah, because that's kind of a process. You kind of have to like try some people and find somebody that's good for you. But do it, right? Maybe you have never looked into dating coach advice. And, you know, it sounds like, I don't know, almost like a lot of people are like reluctant to look into it because they think it's all about mind game playing and things like that. But really a lot of the coaches out there are just trying to teach you like what is like an example of a healthy, reasonable relationship you could be trying to attain, or what are like acceptable, like healthy circumstances in the dating world, because everything gets so fucked up and askew these days. So it's like we need somebody to like set a standard here, right? So it's not all bad. Let's see, anything else as far as like if you have a niche business you're getting into, there's like experts for like every single thing out there now, and you can either watch their YouTube channel and learn slowly, or you can like buy their program for usually between $1,000 and $2,000 and get their like proven formula that they've done and do what they do. So it's up to you, but there's so many resources out there. You can do it for free or you can spend some money, but either way, whatever is giving you issue right now, be on the lookout for a good coach, an expert to consult, or just like generally a mentor. Ooh, treasure chest is turned over. An unforeseen windfall of new abundance comes to you now. Very exciting. So yeah, it may be that, first of all, your manifestation may have been sort of in a pause or slowed down or in waiting. You know, when you're watching your package and it's like in a handling center somewhere and you're like, come on, it's been there for like 3 days, 4 days. It's like you're kind of in the handling center right now. So while you're here, it's like just be prepared. Do the best you can to get all your ducks in a row. Consult an expert. And like it might have to do with like an emotional block. Self-forgiveness might help you get through the emotional block that's holding your manifestation from coming in, because it's going to heal your sense of worthiness around it. You're not going to have the guilt and the shame that's making you feel unworthy or inadequate. And so that's going to unleash a block. Then if you consult an expert, maybe it has to do with how you can increase your income through your side hustle. Or maybe it's that you've been working on your side hustle and there's just been like, you've just been trying to like, I don't know, get it to take off, or you've just been waiting for it to hit or something. But I feel like it's coming, and the expert could help you with that like little missing piece. But either way, you're setting yourself up for success, and you might get a sudden boost where you've been putting a lot of effort and maybe just not feeling like you're seeing results yet. Like it's just that's that initial phase. That's that building time. It's just, it takes a while. Ooh, okay, what was that? Mother healing. I think that was maybe in our reading last time. We've been basically oscillating between mother healing and father healing. And I think the womb card came up recently this week, I think too. As your feelings towards your mother heal, your desires manifest more rapidly and accurately. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, when we talk about our mother healing and our father healing, it's like we get frustrated because the relationship maybe doesn't seem to improve a lot, because there's two people that have to be involved in this process, and you're really the only one that's consciously involved in it, and you can't force others to be involved in it, and you can't dump all this on them and expect them to join you in the process. Like, you can communicate the best you can, but really, if they it's up to them to take it or leave it or what. So sometimes, even though you put effort in, it's not yielding the results that you would like from your parents, or they're still being the same, or it's not really changing. Like, you imagine in your mind that, like, when you do this healing, like, suddenly you'll be able to, like, have fun times and, like, go to brunch and all this stuff, and maybe it's just never going to be that way. But what you can control is just how you feel about it. You can just lighten up and give up. Just give up. Give up on your parents. They're never going to change. Maybe it's never going to be what you want it to be. So take the pressure off and just start over and pretend like they're just some people that you're getting to know for the first time. And no big deal. If you don't get along, you don't get along. And maybe just start just having fun and, like, lightening up, and don't take it all so seriously. And avoid those bickering arguments that always get everybody upset. And don't do little digs at people. You know, like, even if you think it's just some, like, little funny thing that's just, like, picking on them for fun to be funny, that person, that's the thing that causes the tension every time. And then everybody else is so don't fuck with your mom at the table. She's, like, wanted everything to be nice for Christmas. Don't fuck with your dad. Don't fuck with your sister. Stop touching your brother. Like, don't be a shithead, you know, to your aunt and uncle. Your uncle is a total fuck. Like, just get over it. Like, there was this guy, my ex's uncle. He was the fucking toothless boob of the family. And he ain't my business anymore, so I'm just going to talk shit because I don't have to deal with them. But he would be like, we would literally be like, okay, y'all, let's take bets to see how long it's going to take Dennis to come in and randomly start, like, running his mouth about, like, like, sensitive issues. And this is, like, a very uptight, very Southern, very homophobic, very, I don't know, like, what is the word when you're oppressed? Like, he's sexually repressed and probably bi-curious, you know, and horrified of it. And so, like, every single time there's a family gathering, there's somebody on Facebook from his, like, community who is, like, going through the process of transformation, gender transformation. And this guy is obsessed over it, and he always would talk about it. And, like, we're all just like, just let this person live their life. Like, it takes a lot of, like, guts and, like, you know, heartache to go through what they're doing. And, like, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of, like, you know, effort and resources. And just live and let live, you know? But it was just like, those people, you have to just, like, ignore them. You can't even argue with them. You can't even lead by example, because then everybody gets into a big pompous, like, arrogant, like, oh, I'm so much better than you kind of, like, standoff. So basically just don't react at all. Ignore them completely. Everyone leave the room as if someone farted and change the subject, right? And try to just move on and don't let it bother you, because it's very easy. That's why people hate going to family events. It's these tense moments. It's like, this annoying person here is going to be like a clashing, clanging cymbal to everybody else. And, like, then someone's going to be sensitive because they put all this effort in and nobody's really making it, you know, no one's, like, making enough of a fuss or appreciating enough. So, yeah, just don't do all the shit that stirs up shit at the holidays. And if you want to do the mother healing, you can't control how everybody else is acting. You can't control how you and your mother, like, how your mother is with you. But you can control how you are with your mom. You can be sensitive towards her feelings. You can try to be more thoughtful. You can try to be more patient, and you can try to be more neutral, and you can just try not to be triggered. If your mom is the type of person that tries to pick fights with you, let her tire herself out and make absolutely no reaction and give it zero emotion. And that's how you start having control over the kind of people that try to manipulate you with that kind of thing. Be cause consciousness. Be unwavering. Don't let people get under your skin, right? Control the way that you feel towards your mother relationship, like not just towards your mother, but about the whole relationship. Just be relaxed. Accept it the way it is. Even if it's terrible, just be like, yeah, own it. We have a terrible relationship. Just let it be what it is. And then at least then you won't be fighting against what it is. And then maybe you can be relaxed enough to start letting the knots sort of like relax and work their way out, right? I have this notification on my screen. It's bothering me. All right. Oh my God, this is going to be a really, really long video because the first half is like 30 minutes and the second half is already over 30 minutes. Eek! Cray! All right, let's see what the romance angels have to tell us. Okay, what do we need to know for our love life over the next couple of weeks? Oh, wedding. Oh, we're getting married in 2 weeks. I hope you're ready. So Hallmark. Wedding for Christmas. The situation involves marriage. Maybe as you're, while you're considering all of the other areas in your life, maybe start thinking about the type of relationship that you're ready to call in now. Are you wanting just casual flings? Are you wanting to have more substantial relationships but nothing long-term or serious? Are you looking for long-term serious? Are you looking to meet the person who's potentially ready to meet the person like that they want to marry or like really commit to forever? Start getting an idea of like really where you're at so that you can attract the right thing for this phase of your life. This situation involves marriage. I feel like every situation involves marriage in a general sense. Like it's either going to affect whether or not you get married. Like you're either going to date people and it's like you're either not going to marry them or maybe you will. It's a 50-50, yes or no. Healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Woo. So does your money life. So love and money are connected. And I feel like our manifestations, there are a lot to do with, the money ties in, and I feel like it usually has to do with like a passionate project or life purpose or, things, literal material things we're trying to create. But I think those things are related to the romantic things that we're trying to create too. All of it is ruled under Venus. So yes, as we heal our parent issues, the rest of our issues will also be more resolved. All of this, but I don't want to. I'm just gonna reshuffle. Okay. I feel like I wasn't even shuffling then. I was just too tired. Make the effort. This came out, what was it? Today is Friday? Yesterday. It came out Thursday. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. So, communication is key and make the effort. Put yourself out there. Make the effort. Flirt. If you need to push yourself to go out more, to accept invitations, push yourself to go to parties, get dressed up, look nice when you go to the grocery store, make an effort to stay open while you're out running errands, looking around, smiling, looking pleasant, engaging with people, being playful. You just never know, but as you make the effort generally to be more open and engaging with life, it'll spill out into the other areas too. But I do feel that if you like someone specifically right now, maybe you should make some effort towards them. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectation. Very interesting. I feel like, wow, let's pull one more. Yeah, keep an open mind. I mean, I've never had a super specific type, or at least I never thought I did, but I think I do. Or at least I know definitely I can like count out very quickly like what I don't like or what I don't want. But I've always found that when I look back on like my history of partners, there are things they have in common, but not as much as you'd think. And so I feel like I'm usually pretty good at keeping an open mind about who I'm going to be attracted to, because usually I'm not attracted to anyone until I start like engaging with them. I mean, I can think people are good looking, but even then I'm like, I hardly even notice unless I'm actually like talking to them, because otherwise I'm just like, they're probably this or that, you know, I'm like sitting there judging them. Pay attention to red flags. Let's pull an extra card. This is why you don't pull an extra card. We should have left well enough alone. The signs are cautioning you. Keep an open mind, make the effort, but hold on, wait, not so fast there. I don't know, just pay attention. You know, it's easier to trust yourself, and it's safer to trust yourself and others when you know how, or when you can trust yourself to actually see a red flag and take it to heart and do something about it and remember it in your mind. Like if you're just getting to know someone and they do something that's kind of weird and off, don't just brush that under the rug. Save it in a little jar for later, right? And if you get a couple of those in that jar in like a short period of time, or you know, as things progress, like you need to really consider what you're dealing with. Like, don't just ignore these things. And the severity of the red flags, like for instance, if you're on a first date with someone and they get like wasted, bad sign. Nervous, I got blackout drunk because I was nervous, or like drunk enough to like be like weird and like fumbling, like that's still a bad sign, because it's that person is telling you like, hey, when I get uncomfortable in life, I drink and I get really drunk because that's the way I deal with it, right? So it's like, I dated a person who early on, they got way too drunk, like when we were out and about together, and I just was too forgiving at the time. I just never had dated someone with a drinking problem, or who was a problem drinker. And so I didn't know the signs to look for. I did see that was kind of a red flag, but I was just like, oh, you know, it could happen to anybody. And I think that sometimes we're just trying to be understanding and forgiving people. We're all so wonderful, kind and generous, just like saints and angels. But really, like, we need to be able to have enough backbone to say, like, all right, yeah, everybody can mess up, but like, that's okay. I'm just gonna move on to the next thing. Or, you know, yeah, if you do that again, it's like, we're done, you know, kind of thing. But you don't like just keep like letting that person do it over and over again. Save them in the jar. They start adding up, you've got a big problem. It's just the one in the jar and it's been months and months. It's like, okay, that person just had a moment. They have a bad day. I mean, anybody can like put off red flags. I could, you could. If the person that like is getting the red flag perceives you in the moment just the right way, and they're triggered in just the right way, yeah, any of us could like come off as like, you know, putting out red flags. So consider them, and like you can see patterns start to forming. And if it's like a big enough red flag, you might just need to like get out and like don't look back. All right, so our advice from Mother Mary, who historically tomorrow night will be going into labor, riding a little donkey on the way to Bethlehem to pay her taxes with her husband Joseph. And they would try to pull over and get a room at a little hotel, a little roadside hotel, and there would not be any more room. And they'd be booked up because everybody's in town paying their taxes to King Herod. And I guess it was King Herod, I think, but then they had to like go stay in the barn and give birth to Jesus. And it's like, wow, you know, we run around during the holidays and everything is stressful. And you know, it's so funny because it's like we're starting to think about tax season, and we're having to deal with like signing up for our like healthcare and stuff every year. It's like all very adulting, and like everybody's rushing around. There's like the snowstorm, and you think like, oh yeah, like we're not alone. Like the fucking Christ of the world was born in shitty Mercury retrograde circumstances. Like, pregnant woman having to go on a long, arduous journey on donkey back to go pay taxes. It's like they're not going to have fun. They're like, well, let's hit up that little cafe while we're in Bethlehem. Like, nah. I mean, it was not a good time. And then the woman, like, this is the woman who's chosen to, like, carry the savior of the world. And we think like, oh my God, like, what? Like, somebody's looking out for me, like, and you're like, oh, shouldn't I be in better conditions than this? Like, am I a disappointment? And it's like, no, like, look at Mary and Joseph. Even they were like riding a donkey, like, couldn't get a hotel room. Woman is like about to give birth. She had to give birth in a barn. Like, they were like trying to go pay taxes. It was inconvenient, stressed, holiday shit. Probably Hanukkah's overlapping, dealing with the in-laws. They're on me again about my Mezzano connection. You know, like, fucking forget the old pastries, Marge. Yeah, it's like, things can get crazy. Oh yeah, so back to Mary's advice. Patience. I trust in divine timing. That's so Capricorn. It's like, I'm going to take my sweet time. I'm going to plot step by step, slow, no rush. Let's just get it all right. One brick at a time. Be patient. Don't rush. Don't push forward. Just take it easy. Use this time to reflect, plan, and strategize. The other card was prayer. That's been a big thing recently, is like using your prayer out loud, using your voice out loud. It's a very magical manifesting tool. Every time I spend a couple of days where I'm just like on it, like, and I remember to be praying out loud, crazy good stuff happens. I have crazy good shifts at work. Like, good little things throughout the day will go right, you know? And it's amazing. And it makes an even bigger difference than even just when I'm like mentally trying to stay in that prayer zone, or like, you know, when I'm writing my prayers. It makes a huge difference when I'm actually saying them out loud. It's so much more effective. Instead of worrying, I pray about the situation to bring about real solutions. And one of the journaling exercises I was doing the other day was like this year, it was like part of, it was like asking you to write down ways that you figured out how to like self-soothe, or like ways that you can instantly feel secure or safe, so that you don't have to codependently like depend on other people to make you feel better. And so one of the things, it was like, write down 3 things that make you feel most safe, that you can like grab hold of in an instant if you need to. And my top one is prayer. Honestly, like, if I'm feeling like scared and like I've got a mean case of the Reds, as Holly Golightly would put it from Breakfast at Tiffany's, like, my top ones are prayer, makes me feel better immediately. Meditation makes me feel better. Watching a Kabbalah class makes me feel better immediately. And like going on a run, a hot bath, like those things. But like prayer, big time. So definitely use the prayer. All right, you guys. Well, I will edit this and post it, and it'll be uploading overnight, and hopefully you're seeing this in the morning of Christmas Eve. So you'll probably be watching this night 7 of Hanukkah and Christmas Eve, and I hope you'll have a fun, safe holiday, and I hope you have a white Christmas, And I hope you have Christmas miracles and Hanukkah miracles. And I guess I'll see y'all tomorrow at some point. So I don't know why I'm like acting like I'm going to be gone for like Christmas break. I'll be here. Ciao.